There's three stages of freedom that I was able to so far discover or understand. The first stage is the stage of the child. It's the stage of not having choices. There's freedom in not having choices when choices are made for you. When you're not an individual, when you are conformed to structures that were placed on for you. What time to go to bed, what school you go to, what area you live in, and so on and so forth. So that form of freedom, some people may not ever grow out of that. You know, you grew up in the same town, you kind of found yourself in a job that was essentially kind of expected or is kind of presented to you. Maybe you meet somebody in the area where you live. You don't really date that much, you kind of fall into it. In that process, there's not a lot of choices that you're really making based on having a lot of choices, right? You're kind of choosing the choices that are presented to you. So that is a first stage of freedom. And there's nothing wrong with that. Many people live their whole lives in that stage. But if you look for evolution, if you look for growth, then you look for the second stage. So perhaps a person gets to a point where they realize that they feel a bit conformed, constricted in that first stage. And so in the second stage, they break those barriers. They leave their hometown, they leave the job, they start to recognize that it's not really aligning with who they are. They start exploring. So I feel like the second stage of freedom is the stage of exploration. The person starts exploring, they start to breaking barriers, start making choices, and through those choices they start realizing what they like, what they don't like, who they really are as a person. And oftentimes, let's say if they grew up in an environment that is really constricting, really forceful in placing certain expectations on a person, often the person can get stuck in the second stage where they're constantly running away from responsibilities, constantly running away from obligations, expectations, and so on and so forth. And although the stage is beautiful, it's a very necessary stage, sometimes we get stuck in that stage and we never graduate from it. And so the third stage is that place where you start to understand who you are. You really know, you've tried different things, you've explored different areas of your life, and you have learned your values, you've learned your priorities. And through that process, you start to recognize things that you really do enjoy, and the type of work that you enjoy doing, the type of people you want to have around you, the type of relationship you want to create, where you want to live. And so all of these conscious awareness, all these conscious choices are now presented to you in your life, that they present to you an opportunity to step into the third stage. And the third stage is all about commitment. Commitment to the things that you actually enjoy, to the things that are aligned with who you are, and things that are aligned with your values and your purpose. And in that third stage, freedom comes from commitment. Where the second stage, commitment may have felt like a constriction, it may have felt the opposite of freedom, where the third stage, commitment starts to feel free. Because now, because of your choices, of what you're stepping into, and the type of life that you're choosing to live.